produced by ESPN Audio. In 2007, Jamel won the first Mackenzie Cup, presented in tribute to groundbreaking sports editor Van Mackenzie. She also received an honorable mention in the 2007 edition of Best American Sports Writing. Please join me in welcoming Jamel Hill.
First, let me start by thanking the University of Maryland, thanking, of course, the Merrill College of Journalism. And last, but certainly not least, thank you all to the students for voting for me to be in this position. Checks in the mail, maybe not, but I guess I shouldn't call you students, excuse me, I mean graduates, right? Now, if you're a parent, a family member, a friend, professor, instructor, teacher, if you are anyone who has contributed to this moment, to the lives of these young people, graduates, please give them a round of applause, because you would not be here without their sacrifice, their investment in you, financially or otherwise. This is your moment, of course, graduates, but there wouldn't be a moment if not for them. So now on to you, the class of 2018. Let me be 100% transparent. This is the very first commencement address I've ever given, so right about now I need you to lower your expectations. I thought long and hard about what I was going to say to you. You know, I thought about sharing some of the things I felt like I needed to know when I was sitting in your seat. I jotted down about 20 things that I wish I would have known when I graduated from college. Most of them were around not ruining your credit over a t-shirt, stop buying cheap vodka. But after I wrote them down, you know what I did? I balled them up, those sheets of paper, and just threw them right in the trash. Because, see, you're facing a much different world than the one I faced when I graduated from college in 1997. Yes, I'm older than I look. Social media didn't exist. The journalism industry I see now looks alien compared to the one that I saw 20 years ago. Newspapers were in a healthy place. In fact, there was an abundance of family-owned newspapers. When you turned on the network news, you didn't automatically know the political leanings of the entire network based off their programming. The term fake news didn't exist. There were truths, there were lies, and we as journalists made the distinction between the two based on the facts. Journalism certainly was not perfect. We had plenty of warts. But there was a code, there was a way that we conducted business that was somewhat universal. There was a standard, and journalists were embarrassed by factual mistakes. It was considered egregious if you spelled somebody's name wrong. If you had a correction in the paper, you were completely ashamed. Today, journalism doesn't quite look that way. A Facebook meme is considered more trustworthy than actual reporting. Emotions are considered facts. Technology has certainly helped our business in a lot of ways, but it's also hurt it in a lot of ways as well. Information has become weaponized. But despite the fact that some of these negative trends have sadly become the norm in our business, I am feeling very, very, very optimistic. You know why? It's because of you guys. You all can save us from ourselves. You are going to create a new standard, a better standard. You're going to be committed to the truth, not just to clicks and likes. You're going to be committed to accuracy and fairness. You're going to have the integrity that's lacking now. You won't sacrifice your credibility. You're going to tell the truth, especially during those times when we don't want to face it. You're going to help this industry become the best version of itself. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. That's a pretty tall order. I just met and I'm already demanding things from you. And I won't lie to you, this is not a small job. But I'm not expecting anything of you that I don't expect of myself. But to be fair about this, because I want you to succeed, I'm going to give you the secret to how you can accomplish all of these things, all of these goals I just put on you. All you have to do is believe in one really simple principle. Love the process, screw the results. Can I say screw? Okay, all right, just checking. Because if you're truly going to make this industry better and change it, You have to do something that I once heard from that great philosopher, Chris Rock. Now, I can't say his full quote, otherwise Maryland will never have me back. And they might cut off this microphone, but Chris Rock said in order to make a marriage succeed that you have to learn to love the crust of a person, okay? And that's the perfect description for how you should feel about journalism. If you want to be a sports writer, a sports commentator, a sports analyst, an anchor, you have to love reporting on that Friday night high school football game between two teams that don't matter as much as you love reporting on the Super Bowl. If you want to be a political reporter, you have to love covering a city council meeting in a small town as much as you love covering a presidential election. If you want to be a news reporter, you have to be just as committed to covering a county health fair as you are to covering the opioid crisis. You have to be just as willing to live in Lima, Ohio, which I did for 4 months, as much as you are willing to live in New York and Los Angeles. If you don't love the crust of this profession, if you don't love the worst parts of it, then I have some real sad news for you on your graduation day. You picked the wrong profession. I love journalism. I love it despite fake news, despite memes being treated as facts, despite the manipulation of information, despite the deliberate and appalling attacks on real journalism, despite this prevailing absurd notion that journalists should not call a lie, despite the numerous examples of the media often capitulating to the worst common denominator. Journalism is the greatest love that I've ever had. I love it unconditionally and faithfully, and I love it so much that I wholeheartedly believe it can be better. You're a big part of that process. Now, if you don't have that kind of love for the business, then do us all a favor and find something you do love like that. Otherwise, this is a big waste of your time and talent. But if you feel the way that I feel about journalism, about making the industry better, then please allow me to thank you in advance for putting our business in a far healthier place. So, once again, the takeaway is love the process, screw the results. A lot of us are concerned about where we end up and not about the journey in getting there. This is a great day. This is a momentous day. Make sure that you take time to soak this in because this only happens once. I made that mistake when I graduated. I didn't look around. I didn't take enough pictures. I didn't have enough laughs. I didn't smile enough. I didn't enjoy the moment enough because I was so focused on the result of moving on to the first job or what was life going to look like for me next. You'll have plenty of time to have that level of anxiety. Trust me, you're about to be adulting real hard. And then if anything, you'll wonder, why didn't I stay longer and get another degree? So make sure that you take this opportunity to soak in this moment with your family, with your friends, with the people that have helped you get here. Again, thank you all. Thank you, Merrill, for allowing me to spend this time with you. You are no longer students. You are not graduates. You are officially now my colleagues, which means the first round is on you. Congratulations.
Dr. Ronald Yaros, the director of our doctoral program, will assist Dean Dalglish in presenting today's doctoral degree candidates, along with the faculty representative from the Students' Committee, Dr. Kalyani Chadha.
James Gatchow has successfully completed all requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Journalism Studies. James, would you please come forward and say a few words about your research at Merrill College?
Thank you, and good morning all. I'd first like to give a big thank you to all of you for coming for this commencement, and to the faculty of Merrill College for bringing us here and teaching us how to be good journalists. So I'd like to give a few words of my research. I have been studying how social media can enhance participatory democracy, which sounds ironic, especially after the speech you just heard, but my research shows that there is potential for social media to contribute to journalism as the medium for calling out people in power and thus enhancing democracy. By using social media to talk about the things that matter to us, we can enhance democracy. And my findings indicate that there's that potential. Thank you.
It is my privilege to present James Gatchow before Dean Dalglish and the college faculty as eligible to be invested with the doctoral hood, reflecting his earned degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dean Dalglish, in accordance with the recommendation of his examining committee, the Journalism Graduate Faculty and the Graduate Council, I request that you recognize Mr. Gatchow for his accomplishments and welcome him to the honorable company of learned women and men.
I am pleased to accept the faculty's recommendation and am honored to welcome James Gatchow to the ranks of the students of the Philip Merrill College of Journalism who have reached the highest degree awarded by this university.
Dr. Kalyani Chadha will now present the next doctoral degree candidate.
Pallavi Guha has successfully completed all requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Journalism Studies. Pallavi, would you please come forward to say a few words about your research at Merrill College?
Thank you. I have a long list of people to thank, so here's my tip sheet. So I'm going to make it really fast. As a PhD scholar at the Merrill College, I studied the role of social media and mass communication platforms in building an agenda against rape and sexual assault in India. I found that not everyone's story and assault gets the same kind of attention, whether in mainstream media or in social media. There's always selective outrage on both the platforms depending on the identity of the individual. Well, the day I defended my dissertation in December of 2017, Time announced its Person of the Year, and guess who? It was the founders who initiated the hashtag #MeToo movement. So it just reaffirmed my belief, as well as my study, that rape and sexual assault, unfortunately, are always relevant. I will continue to study and research this in my academic journey. To be able to continue my academic journey, I'm thankful to my advisors, Dr. Kalyani Chadha and Dr. Linda Steiner, my committee members, Dr. Sarah Oates, Dr. Ron Yaros, and Dr. Sahar Khamis. I would also like to thank the interview participants of my research who shared their experiences with me. In my time at Merrill, I also had the opportunity to teach and participate in academic and professional conferences. I'm thankful to Dr. Susan Moeller, Dr. Ira Chenoy, and Professor Carl Stepp for their contribution in my teaching and pedagogy. I'm grateful to Dean Dalglish and Associate Dean of Academics, Rafael Lorente, for their generosity in funding the academic opportunities. Finally, I wouldn't be here at this commencement if not for my family. My parents, Baisakhi and Samir Guha, who are here, who traveled all the way from India for this commencement, for their steadfast support in every step of my life and raising me to be the individual I am. My 8-year-old daughter, Anahita, for her unconditional support and love. My dear husband, Arya, for encouraging and supporting me all the way through. And my friends, they have been a pillar of support. My BFF, Supriya, who's watching this online in India. My friends, Rob and Deborah, who are here all the way from Arkansas. My cohort members, Carol Lee and James and others. And finally, most importantly, thank you, God, for everything and this day.
It is my privilege to present Pallavi Guha before Dean Dalglish and the college's faculty as eligible to be invested with a doctoral hood reflecting her earned degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dean Dalglish, in accordance with the recommendation of her examining committee, the Journalism Graduate Faculty, and the Graduate Council, I request that you recognize Ms. Guha for her accomplishments and welcome her to the honorable company of learned women and men.
I am pleased to accept the faculty's recommendation, and I'm honored to welcome Pallavi Guha to the ranks of the students of Philip Merrill College of Journalism who have received the highest degree awarded by this university.
Associate Dean Rafael Lorente will present the master's degree candidates.
Unfortunately, the master's candidates were not able to attend today, so I will read the names of the master's candidates. For the Master's of Journalism degree, Julia Storella Karen, Mamie Lucinda Maynard, and Zachary Stephen Shapiro. For the Master of Arts in Journalism, Karen Zeitvogel. And for the Graduate Certificate in Multimedia Journalism, Deirdre Byrne, Jalali Golshan, Regina Ham, Susan Cash, and Elena Macias. In accordance with the recommendation of the faculty of the college, please recognize these candidates who have successfully completed all requirements for the degrees of Master of Arts, Master of Journalism, and Graduate Certificate in Multimedia Journalism. Thank you.
Assistant Dean Joshua Madden and Chris Harvey will now present the undergraduate degree candidates. Each candidate will receive a lithograph, and congratulations from Dean Dalglish.
Will all undergraduate candidates please step forward? In accordance with the recommendation of the faculty of the Philip Merrill College of Journalism, please recognize these candidates for a Bachelor of Arts in Journalism. Charles Janvrin Mitchell. Aisha Sharipjan. Kira Dorothy Sansone. Jacqueline Boongai Hyman. Daniel Offman. Maeve Douglas Dunnigan. Julia Elizabeth Bryant. Cameron William Niemand. Alexander Graham Mann. Jake Alexander Britton. Barrett Lawrence Goldberg. Tina Hang Vo. Jenny Abigail Aguilar. Madison Marmon. Carlos Marquinu. Blair Elizabeth Jackson. Kirsten Owens. Karina Bahari Sharma. Jacob Ripken Brodsky. Alexander Paul Flum. Olawatoyin Akinwande. Michaela Saria Johnson. Oluwatumike Ida Kamin Ida Waboy Joe. India Hamilton. Kirsten Alexandra Flood. Amanda Blair Deutsch. Alexandra Emmanuel Lashley. Stephen Arario Dilsizian. Alexander James Littlehales. Mylia M. Laughlin. Michaela Ann Johnson. Kara Lorraine Newcomer. Nicholas James Sobel. Christopher Emmanuel Rogers Spatuzzi. Dante Maurice Evans. Joseph Malandraculo IV. Joshua Allen Coggins. Connor Andrew Bell. Evan Berkowitz. Joel Michael Bally. Michael Anthony Bryce Sadler. Anna Christina Muckerman. Hallie Ilana Miller. Rachel Lee Feidelman. Robert Michael Greenspan. Lane Adele Litzinger. Caroline Ann Hanks. Nathaniel Patch Harold. Daniel Lee Bernstein. Kyle Nathaniel Melnick. Andrea Kate Suica. Minna Hack. Jessica Sarah Campisi. Thomas Scott Hausman. Gabrielle Marie Kanick. Julianne Christine Maxwell. Haley Morgan DeBetta. Carly Eden Kempler. Natalie Elizabeth Grimm. Rebecca Kathleen King. Megan Elizabeth Smedley. Samantha Julia Waldenberg. Liam Evan Beatus. Catalina Mejia. Bradley Pierce Billington. Griffin Matthew Jones. Sabrina Viscomi. Elise Paige Browchuck. Molly Lee Alcon. Vidal Ian Serfati. Christina Raquel Johnson. Brett Austin Roberts. Kayleen Renee Ennis Yermal. Alana Rachel Bernstein. Nicole Ann Reisinger. Asia Janae Hester. Yaren Jung. Zachary Tigger Marcus. Morgan Sarah Pills. Sydney Young Fazio. Molly Starr Higgins. Anna Marie Hurler. Tristan Robert Madden. Sarah Elizabeth Fielder. Jillian Lee Vesely. Wen Han Nugent. Rachel Anne-Marie Kuipers. Andrew Eaton Dunn. Zane Philip Moses. Casey Jordan Camerly. Ryan Michael Seville. Timmy Chong. Joseph Alvaro Foley. Terry Camille West. Lindsay Paige Feingold. Alexandria Caroline. Rayanne Mary Weigel. John James Pashadi. Abby Taylor Wallish and Gear. Nadia Elise Barnett. Sydney Alexis Tonic. Brooke Shannon Giles. Kristen Nicole Cito. Jessica Fishberg. Lorraine Amy Dule Janota. Joshua Joseph Schmidt. Sean Patrick Hooley. Evan Joshua Regrodsky. Juan Emmanuel Herrera. Daniel Jason Chavkin.
congratulate our graduates one more time. It is an ancient university tradition to give an outstanding graduate, selected by our undergraduate students, the opportunity to address the commencement assembly on behalf of fellow students. This year, they have selected Alexander Flum to represent them. Alex is graduating from Merrill College with a degree in broadcast journalism. In his time at Maryland, he has anchored and reported on news and sports for Capital News Service, served as the executive producer and co-creator of the Left Bench TV, and broadcast games for the Big Ten Network and WMUC Sports. He worked as a field producer and intern with the NBC Washington Sports Department, and also interned for ABC 7 in Arlington, Virginia, and WBOC 16 in Salisbury, Maryland. Alex has a strong passion for sports, as you can tell, but he also loves broadcast journalism and storytelling. Last summer, he was one of 3 Merrill College students who traveled to Israel to cover the Friendship Games basketball tournament. I've heard a rumor that he will soon be starting a job as an anchor at the Harrisonburg, Virginia ABC affiliate. Alex, would you join us?
I made sure to bring my Philip Merrill College of Journalism water bottle up with me. George, thank you for giving me this, by the way. So yeah, this is a big crowd. I haven't spoken in front of a crowd this big since I spoke at the National Menorah Lighting about 10 years ago. It was a very fun Hanukkah, I'll tell you that. You know, it's crazy how much can change in 10 years. 10 years ago, I thought I was going to the NBA. Might do it, Liam. I thought I was going to get recruited by Maryland basketball, play 4 years here, no one and done. Then I was going to get drafted by the Wizards, win a few championships, maybe Hall of Fame, maybe. Turns out in middle school, I barely made the second middle school basketball team. My first game, I think I had 8 turnovers, didn't make a single shot. Finished my illustrious 2-year middle school basketball career with 1 point. Went to the free throw line once, split the free throws. So I had to figure something else out, clearly. Journalism was the answer. I liked it, talking to everyone, hearing everyone's stories, telling everyone's stories. It was pretty fun. So I hung up my basketball shoes and picked up a reporter's notebook and a microphone. Got the microphone here. In the end, I didn't play 4 years for Maryland basketball, but I got 4 years that I can't complain about at the best journalism school in the country, the Philip Merrill College of Journalism. You know, it's amazing what happens here every single day. This semester alone, the class of 2018 has racked up countless awards. Last month, students from Capital News Service, Viewfinder, and the Diamondback won 21 of 46 categories at the Society of Professional Journalists Regional Awards. Also last month, Maryland students swept the student television category of the National Gracie Awards, honoring women and coverage of women in media. Now, if I had like 30 more minutes, I'd tell you all the other awards everyone here has won, but we don't have time for that. But it truly is amazing the work that comes from the students here, whether it's through classes or extracurricular student-run organizations like the Diamondback, WMUC, the Big Ten Network, Maryland Baseball Network, Unwind Magazine, Stories Beneath the Shell, the Mitzpah, the Left Bench, had to include that one, and so many more. I'm sorry if I missed any, there are a lot. Students in our class have interned at the Washington Post, the Baltimore Sun, CNN, USA Today, Vice, all 4 television stations in Washington, D.C., NBC Sports, with sports teams, with politicians, and so many more places. Our class has covered the Republican National Convention, the inauguration, protests and marches in our nation's capital, the White House, Congress, the Super Bowl, underperforming local sports teams, recently overperforming local sports teams. When I wrote this, the Caps had a 2-0 lead. It's now 3-2, they're losing. But go Caps. I think without a doubt, the most covered story was the 2016 election and everything that has happened since then. The past couple years have been huge for journalism. It's been under attack by certain political figures. The President of the United States described the media not too long ago as, quote, the enemy of the people, end quote. And that's per the LA Times, not fake news. So let me tell you guys what the enemy of the people has done just in the past couple of years. The New York Times and the New Yorker won a Pulitzer Prize in public service for exposing cases of sexual harassment and abuse. The enemy of the people provided a way for those who weren't comfortable to share their stories to share their stories. And because of that, also started a national conversation. The enemy of the people this year told stories about the people. They told stories of people who face discrimination for their religion, their race, their sexual orientation. They told stories of normal people who are at risk from being separated from their families. They told stories of the victims of shootings in Las Vegas, Texas, and Florida, and unfortunately many other places. If we are the enemy of the people, so be it. But if that's the case, I think we're a pretty good enemy to have. This is nothing new. Journalists have always told the stories that matter. Journalists have always faced backlash when they've told true stories that upset 1 or 2 or maybe more people. But that's our job. We're not here to turn the other way. We're here to be public servants. It's an important time for journalism, not just for the stories we are covering, but because the industry is changing. We're immersed within the digital age, and it's going to be our job to figure out the direction that this field is taking. We need to innovate, we need to know what's coming next, and we need to adapt to whatever that may be. The good news is Merrill College has taught us well, and that's thanks to the amazing faculty here. I want to thank every single professor and administrator in this school. Because of you guys, we'll be able to go out into the world and make a difference. But I do want to extend a special thank you to one person in particular from all of the graduates, and that's Olive Reed. Right over there. Olive retired from her job as Associate Dean in December, but there's no questioning how much she impacted the college experience of our class. Olive was there for many of us from the beginning, urging us to get involved immediately and making sure we were doing okay throughout our time here. Thank you, Olive. I also want to recognize Professor Carl Stepp, who is retiring after 35 years as a professor here. Though I have never taken a class with Professor Stepp, I'm well aware of the impact he has had on so many different students who have learned from him, and he will greatly be missed. Thank you, Professor Stepp. I want to thank my mom, Annette Torchinsky, for always being there for me no matter what. I know how much this day means to you. Thank you to my dad, my brother, my aunts and uncles, my cousins, and the rest of my family as well. The constant encouragement and support from my family and friends helps me keep pursuing my dream. I'm thrilled that my grandfather, though he's not here today, he just turned 91 a couple weeks ago, will be able to watch this speech on a video. Thank you to my mentors, Scott Abraham of ABC7 and Heather McDonough of NBC4. The opportunities the two of you have given me have gotten me to this point today. It's a big day for all of us graduating, but if it wasn't for our parents, siblings, grandparents, friends, and mentors, we wouldn't be here today. On behalf of all of us, thank you. For us, Merrill College has been our home and a family. We've forged friendships that will last a lifetime. We've learned lessons that we'll put to use for our entire lives. For me, it's hard to say goodbye to a place that's meant so much to me over the past 4 years, but it's time for a new chapter. We're ready for that next chapter, whether it's in a newsroom or elsewhere. We'll take the core journalism skills and ethics that we've learned here and translate them to the professional world. We're prepared to graduate, we're ready to make an impact, and we are #Merrill Made. Congratulations, everyone. And I'm declaring for the NBA draft. That's all.
While all of our students work hard to earn their degrees, there are a few who deserve special recognition because of their accomplishments. In your program, you will find the names of this year's awards recipients as recommended by members of our faculty.
Sue Kopen-Katzif will recognize the Outstanding Broadcast News Senior for this commencement.
Will Becca King please step forward? It gives me tremendous pleasure to present Merrill's Outstanding Broadcast Student Award to Becca. I have had the absolute pleasure of knowing and working with Becca pretty much from the moment she stepped foot into the Merrill College. Becca absolutely personifies the best of Merrill. She is an academic standout, graduating with a 3.96 GPA as a double major in journalism and government and politics. She is passionate, she is motivated, she is a team player, and Becca is a leader. Becca jumped right in as a volunteer for our Capitol News Service television newscast, Maryland Newsline, starting her freshman year. She quickly became an essential player in the newsroom, serving as one of our production crew chiefs, responsible for training and scheduling of all the other volunteers. That's in addition to also serving as any one of a number of roles in the newsroom, and that included director, technical director, show producer, reporter, and anchor. Along the way, Becca has also had some pretty fantastic internships. They have included WBOC Television in Salisbury, Maryland Public Television, WJLA in Washington, and the DC Bureau of CBS News. Becca is also a member of ODK, Omicron Delta Kappa, the Leadership Honor Society. And there are awards. Alex kind of mentioned a few of them, lots of them. They include Becca's recent Best of Show honor from the Maryland, Delaware, DC Press Association for Spot News Video. Now, mind you, that is in competition for Best of Show with major publications throughout the state. Not a small accomplishment. We took 6 Best of Shows. Becca also took first place in that contest for news-driven multimedia storytelling. Other honors include, as Alex mentioned, a National Gracie for Soft News Feature, a number of Student Achievement Awards from the Regional Emmy Chapter, and scholarships from the White House Correspondents Association. It has been quite a 4-year ride, filled with accomplishments. And the ultimate payoff, Becca is heading to Charleston, South Carolina, where she's going to begin her full-time career as a producer at WCSC Live 5 News. Becca, I am so pleased to be able to present you with this award as the Merrill College's Outstanding Broadcast Student. Congratulations.
Sean Mussenden will now recognize our outstanding multimedia news senior for this commencement.
Will Evan Berkowitz please join me on the stage? So I had the pleasure of working with Evan last year in Capital News Service, where he worked for us as a graphic designer, a motion graphic artist, a data journalist, a reporter, and a writer. His considerable design eye made him an essential member of our team, taking the lead on some of the most memorable work CNS has produced in recent years. In addition to his award-winning design work, Evan proved himself to be a careful reporter and editor, a skilled writer with excellent news judgment. I know this makes it sound like Evan was great at everything, and in my experience, he actually was. As design editor of the Diamondback, our amazing award-winning student-run newspaper, give it up, Diamondback, Evan did it all. He designed web and newspaper pages, produced social videos and print and social graphics, and earned a reputation as a key member of the staff during his 4 years here. While at Merrill, he also had internships at the Alexandria Times, Washington Life magazine, and the Peabody Essex Museum. Did I say that right? Peabody? Nice, okay. One last thing I want to say about Evan. He is brilliant, like shockingly brilliant. I don't think I've ever worked with a student who knew so much about so many things, from art history to trains to pretty much any topic under discussion in the newsroom or any class. Dana Priest, who's a member of our faculty, is not here today. Put it this way in an email she sent to me, quote, "For me, the biggest problem with having Evan as a student was surprising him with something he didn't already know or at least have an inkling about. Over time, I came to judge how well I was doing with the smartest, most engaged students by how much I could make Evan laugh and crack jokes about details he hadn't run across before. It was only near the end of class when I demonstrated how their iPhones track, log, and analyze all the places you've carried the phone that he said with glee, 'I didn't know that.' Heartwarming, hard-won words to my ears." So please join me in congratulating our outstanding multi-platform senior award winner, Evan Berkowitz.
Associate Professor Kalyani Chadha will now recognize this commencement's Kappa Tau Alpha awardees and top KTA awardee.
Kappa Tau Alpha was founded in 1910 at the University of Missouri. It is the nationally recognized honor society for those university individuals pursuing scholarship in the field of journalism. Established in 1961, the Maryland chapter has been recognizing academic excellence among its graduates for over 50 years. Each year, our chapter recognizes those students who have academically performed in an outstanding manner. The following students have responded to that recognition. Will the following new initiates please come to the stage to receive their Kappa Tau Alpha certificate, and please remain on stage after receiving your award. Rebecca Kathleen King, Ryan Michael Seville, Karina Bahari Sharma, Hallie Ilana Miller, Jillian Lee Vesley, Carly Eden Kempler, and Megan Elizabeth Smedley. congratulating all of our KTA initiates. You may now return to your seats with the exception of Rebecca. At this time, we would also like to recognize the Kappa Tau Alpha Top Student Award winner, and that winner, of course, is Rebecca King. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Last summer, Professor Carl Sessions Stepp showed up at my door the day before school started and broke my heart. He told me that this would be his last year at Merrill College. As Alex told you, he's been here 35 years. But as a young journalist, he worked for the Charlotte Observer and several other smaller papers and was on the startup staff at USA Today. When he moved to the University of Maryland to teach, his students weren't only the students enrolled in College Park. Through a regular column about writing and editing in the college's American Journalism Review, and through the books and articles he wrote, Carl taught us all. I had relied upon his work for almost 30 years before I actually met him when I took this job. During my first year as dean, Carl chaired the Faculty Advisory Committee, which means he kept me from making stupid mistakes. And over the past 35 years, he has kept most of us from making silly mistakes. He has inspired, he has mentored, he has critiqued, and he has showed us how to treat each other with dignity, respect, and love. We are so sad that Carl is retiring, but we don't begrudge him the life that he and his awesome wife, Laura, have planned for retirement. Carl, could you give us a few words?
Thank you, Dean Dalglish. Thank you to my outstanding colleagues. And thanks especially to my students, the ones who are here and the hundreds, probably thousands who are out there somewhere. A journalist should leave with a story, and so I'm going to tell you a short one. It's about something I learned from my students, one of the many lessons I learned from my students. One semester I had two students who worked for our outstanding news organization, the Diamondback. One was an editor and one was a writer. One week there was a very serious story on campus involving the death of a student. And the editor assigned the writer to go out and conduct some serious and sensitive interviews about that story. The writer was overwhelmed and told her editor that she did not want to do the story. The editor, to her credit, did not let the writer off the hook. She told the writer that it was an important story and that, as Jamel and Alex have already told us, journalists have to do important stories even when they're tough. But neither did the editor pull rank and order the reporter to do the story. Instead, she said, "I understand your concerns. I take your feelings seriously. I will go with you and we'll do the story together." Now, every editor can't go with every reporter, but I thought that was, under the circumstances, a wise decision on the part of this editor. And it gives me something to leave you with. Journalists have to do the important stories, even when they're tough, even when they're a little bit scary. But I think things work out better when we work individually and together, when we treat each other with respect, when we help everyone to feel included and important, And I think that doesn't just make better journalism. I think it makes better people and a better country and a better world. Thank you all very much.
So before we let you go for pictures and lunch with your families, we'd like you to know how proud we are of all of you, and we always will be. Nothing makes us happier than hearing from you, from reading your bylines and seeing your smiling faces on everything from Instagram to ABC News. There is no question that you are entering journalism at a tough time, but you are ready for it. Our campus commencement speaker was a little bit hard on journalists yesterday at the Xfinity ceremony, and I would never disagree with a Nobel Prize winner. But I thought Vice President Gore's comments were a little bit harsh about journalism. But maybe that's because he doesn't know what Merrill College graduates are made of. You have been taught to work ethically and legally, to treat others with respect, to think carefully before you write or to speak, to think independently, and to watch out for the most vulnerable people in our society. As I said yesterday, nothing you do is fake. You have worked on stories about substandard housing and the effect it has on emergency room visits for asthma attacks in Baltimore. You've worked on stories about the opioid epidemic in Anne Arundel County. You've worked on stories about legislation to protect residents of Maryland's nursing homes. You have done some awesome graphics on fatality rates for pedestrians along Baltimore Avenue and elsewhere in Prince George's and Montgomery counties. You've even done a careful analysis of Alex Ovechkin's hat trick rate. You have won so many awards. Last week it was the RFK National Award for Journalism about Humanitarian Work for the asthma stories. We have a little bird told us that later today the Society of Professional Journalists is going to announce in their Mark of Excellence competition that Capital News Service and Viewfinder and the Diamondback will have swept numerous, probably up to 6 categories out of that national competition against students from all across America. Last week, you cleaned up. You beat the professionals in the Maryland, D.C., Delaware Press Association competition. It was cool. We are confident that you will leave Merrill College and make a difference in your world, whether that be Montgomery County or Africa or America's borderlands. Thank you and your families for trusting us with something very, very precious, your education. You did a great job, and we hope we did too. So go out there and fearlessly cover the world. We're counting on you.
Will everyone please rise for the recessional? Please remain standing during the recessional until the platform party and students have filed out, then follow the recessional out of Ritchie Coliseum. Thank you, have a good day, and go Terps!